Yes, now we're live. Hello, guys. Today, our second presentation, our third speaker, Lisa. Nice to see you, Lisa, today.
Nice to see you, Dmitry. Guys, hello. Thanks for
Yes,
having me.
Lisa is certified yoga instructor and mentor for individuals who deal with psychological problems, psychology trauma. He discovers this approach with yoga as an effective tool for curing her service depression, which led her to create a YouTube channel, Udemy channel, over 100 online classes and 2 courses about yoga and her experience. So
Yes.
I think, Lisa, you can start.
Okay, thank you, Dmitry. First of all, I would like to introduce myself, a little bit touch my background, my biography, though just to let you know who am I and what path I came and what led me to mindfulness and another states of consciousness, which I'm going to share with you today. My name is Lisa, social media name Lisa Grail, and I'm well known as a Kundalini yoga teacher most of all, but also I'm a singer. And all my life I was struggling with severe depression, though due to lack of information. I was born in Russia, in Soviet Union. I had to discover all topic on my own with a self-investigation and with a big desire to help myself to stop suffering. Usually when we face drama in our life, we begin the spiritual path or the path of mm, curing psyche with psychology and so on. This is all things are about one topic. So today I will give you presentation and will try to structurize my speech and to make you understand what is mindfulness, what is meditation, and how to enter another states of self perception of reality, because it's a brand new vision of life itself, and it's fascinating. I discover more and more states each day, and I'm very glad to try to help people in very easy language, easy manner, explain how you can achieve those state of consciousness where you will no longer suffer of yourself, of your thoughts, and of your your, I would say, programmed perception. Okay, the first slide, the role of mindfulness and meditation in mental wellness. Yes, these are bases of our happiness. And we go next. Will help myself a bit to have a plan. So definition, what is mindfulness and meditation? Let's stop here a little bit. Mindfulness. For me, this is the same as awareness, and I would like to speak of awareness much more because I'm Kundalini yoga teacher, as Dmitry said, and Kundalini yoga is also called the yoga of awareness. So it's the connection with your body, with your subtle bodies, with your mental body, which is mind, psyche, with your physical body, and as a result, you feel so consolidated and concentrated, and you hear yourself better. You can clearly see where you go astray or where is your true path. And mindfulness as such, as a concept, it leads us to mature psyche. For me, this is synonymous of mature psyche. What is mature psyche? How to check yourself whether you're mature or not. I will share a little bit further. It's only the first definition. And meditation, this is the state beyond the mind, which of course is very hard to explain. It's an inexplicable experience, which many people through thousands of years trying to convey during such sayings. And still, if person never experienced such states out of mind, when your internal dialogue goes to the background, when you feel yourself the whole space, or rather you are the space where the body is located, and you don't have evaluations of what happens, you just being present. You perceive yourself as something which only perceives the reality, not of personality and feeling yourself as Lisa, Dmitry, but as something which is a witness of the whole reality. And these states can be achieved through some practices, which I'm going to share today. Not to spend whole years for this searching, attending retreats, vipassanas, though of course these tools help a lot. I would say Kundalini yoga played major role in my path, that finally I discovered myself for myself such states. And mindfulness plus meditation lead us to wellness, mental and physical abundance, physical health and abundance. These are consequence of both mature psyche and ability to be in the state beyond the mind. And to be in the state beyond the mind, I would say, you don't have to leave society and go to meditate somewhere in Tibet like a monk. You keep on living your social life, having family, your business, but at the same time, you are in some magical space, which makes you feel unconditional love, bliss, and happiness all the time. So I hope you're excited. And we move in next. Okay. I have a holistic approach in my work. As Dmitry told, I have a YouTube channel, and it started with my own path that I was struggling with severe depression. It happened 4 years ago. But of course, I was genetically predisposed to suffering, to overthinking, and with this negative mindset eventually lead me to huge suffering. So I'm familiar with those states people struggling with. I know what it is not have a desire to live, to have suicidal thoughts, to perceive yourself as something bad, and that which someone who even have no right to live. I hated myself. I was lying in bed. It was even hard for me to take shower. And yes, depression is, I would say, the state when your body is so overwhelmed with your mad mind that it switches off, turns off all its functions to save at least body, physical body. This is very genius mechanism, but at the same time, with this state, you are disabled. You can't function. You cannot do anything, and it worsens, and it seems that there is no way out. So when I discovered Kundalini yoga for myself, it cured me of depression in 10 days. It was a miraculous period of my life when I was shocked. I never perceived reality, even with my eyesight so bright, so clear, then after 10 days in a row of Kundalini yoga. Though for my body it was very hard, I could even hardly do some exercises, but the breath work helped me most of all. So I created the course From Depression to Prosperity. You can find it on the Udemy platform. And then subsequently, I also filmed a course for struggling with obesity and to control eating behavior. And on my channel, which is 3 years old now, I'm sharing Trinity, holistic health approach to work with both your body, mind, and soul. And I think that without these three concepts, without combination of these three aspects, we cannot achieve any results. Why? Of course, I will explain. Because we're not only body. Some people, of course, cannot feel the energies, the vibrations through the body. It only happens when the body is clean. But we all know that probably we are doubtful that our mind, our thoughts, this is who we are, right? And if you will ask yourself, am I just the body? Am I my thoughts? Or maybe I'm something above, or even not in this reality, but they call it point of assembly, is located somewhere else in the other space. So who am I? This is a major question the person should ask himself, herself. And in my approach, I use some tools to each section to make the condition of body, mind, soul as, I would say, ideal, perfect, and comfortable for our beingness to be happy. So with the body, I talking about movement and yoga. On my channel, I adore Kundalini yoga. Someone uses exercises at gym, but I would say the Kundalini yoga is unique in that way. It gives us, and meditations of Kundalini yoga, of course, they lead us to self-sufficient, autonomous body, which can produce all chemicals with activation of glands, pineal gland, pituitary gland, hypothalamus, because we work in Kundalini yoga majorly with the brain, and due to breath work. I will speak later about this. Cleanliness, of course, some kind of tools, detox programs. I have one herbal detox program for my clients. Also, it just can be changing of nutrition, or switch to a lighter form of nutrition, or intermittent fasting, which is very popular nowadays due to the concept of autophagy, which helps us to get rid of unnecessary organelles in our cells. And nutrition. Cleanliness, this is detox itself. Someone uses enemas to cleanse intestines. Someone uses herbs. Someone uses intermittent fastings. And this all leads to cleanliness. The cleaner the body is, the purest channel it becomes. So if you ever tried fastings or changed nutrition, or were raw vegan, or was living on juices, you would understand what I'm talking about. And the next point is mind. In mind, I'm using such tools as investigation. It's called Atma Vichara in Advaita Vedanta. This is the concept, Indian concept. But in psychology, it's just be more connected to yourself, ask yourself question, and self-analyze. This is self-investigation. Why I'm thinking so? How can I change this? and so on. These are questions and like internal dialogue. It's very important. Without self-investigation, with the with a too much attachment to our subjective concept of who am I, it's very hard to detach and to get rid of something which tortures us, right? So yeah, we need to ask ourselves, am I really thinking about myself in that manner? Or maybe it's only my subjective opinion, or maybe it is imposed opinion by the society or parents, so that we can detach a little bit and look at us more purely as a witness inside. And once we realized that we have some subjective programs, we can heal ourselves. So the very fact that we discover trauma in psychology is called the major trauma. For example, trauma of rejection by Lise Bourbeau. She has perfect book, 5 Traumas. And once we see our major trauma, we can heal it with detachment and like clear analytics, I would say. Only person who is very smart in that way, he can analyze himself, can heal himself. For instance, some people who have narcissistic personality disorder, they have very immature psyche of the 5-year-old child, and they have no natural ability to self-analyze. That's why such people stuck in them patterns, and they unfortunately are very toxic and they are very hard to heal. But usual person who has empathy, whose neocortex works properly, can self-investigate easily and subsequently heal. If we see the problem, we can work on it. If we in the constant suffering, for instance, when you are in depression, you have no idea what happens, and you truly believe that these are your states. This suffering is you. You are bad, you are unworthy of living, and so on. And the major step is to just see and detach and not believe. Like if this is totally some fairy tale or some spell on you, and once you clean all these concepts regarding yourself and who you are, your traits of character even, then you make your narrow mind. I'm speaking you because not about you personally, of course, but to make understand. You become more wide thinking, and this helps to heal. And then we can make programming. We can install totally new programs into our neural connections. We can work with the brain by only thinking and repeating ourselves some new conceptions that I'm prosperous, I'm worthy, I'm healthy. And day by day, it takes about 90 days to make this brain reset when the new neural circuits are being formed. And it will make us to shift to completely different perception of life itself and ourselves in life. We can program our machine, our quantum computer, I like to call it, to anything. It just requires time. As once we were programmed of being, to have such attitude towards ourselves that we are unworthy, and some other rigid conceptions, as for instance limiting beliefs. Yes, for instance, that it's hard to gain money, that I need to struggle, the world is very is evil, and so on. Once you get rid of any kind of conceptions and see what prevents you of living happy life, then you can easily reprogram yourself to something new and be the creator of this reality and not a victim. This is mature psyche. I was talking about this. And I will also explain how to reach it a little bit further. And maintenance. Maintenance is just support, which you constantly need to be aware of, because it's very easy to sleep in the old patterns and in old programs while you are at the transitional state. And we have these rollbacks to victim patterns, for instance. And I'm truly, why I had depression is because my psyche was very immature. I had this victim pattern that someone should rescue me, someone should give me this or that. I didn't want to take responsibility for my life. And as I see and as I'm working with people, I see that most of them, we want to believe in miracles and don't want to develop. Sometimes we're stuck in very primitive pleasures, not complex pleasures, but dopamine, serotonin-based pleasures out of drugs, food, and alcohol, which only destroy our body and psyche and make us very unstable in psyche. Our nervous system is being fluctuating and so on. So these patterns are very rigid in our neural circuits, and as long as they exist, it's very hard to perceive reality in different way. We truly believe that we are suffering, and I have a great compassion to all people who experience it, because I've been living in victim pattern, and still sometimes when the circumstances are very hard. For instance, I'm immigrated from Russia to America only less than a year ago, and I had to come through different situations. I'm alone here, and it's very easy to fall into victim state and start complaining that, oh my God, help me do this. I cannot do it by myself. But once you realize that you are abundant, that you are strong, you can deal with any circumstances. You can come through very difficult things if you will be perceiving them differently. If you won't be given assessments as the world is bad or good, you lose this dual perception of reality. And the soul, which I won't be talking about in this presentation because it's mostly about the mind, about the states of mind and awareness. So the soul, this is subtle bodies, they exist. You can feel them when the body is clean. Usually a person who has a very dirty body, he can feel energies walking smoothly through all our systems. And yeah, it happens only after very strong and constant practice of yoga, usually. Or maybe for someone it's running or other sports, I don't mind. So for me, to feel my subtle bodies, my spirit, my soul, my energy, to connect with the higher self, as it's called in Kundalini yoga. But I would say this is feeling yourself the limitless, boundless consciousness which perceives reality. This is what they call soul or God or many concepts. Everyone tried to explain in their own manner. For me, I believe that we are something, the consciousness which perceives reality, and this is our, and so maybe it's a little bit more individual concept of some programs of whoever created us to live this experience on earth or that. So soul is some kind of our individual settings of our energy. And by breathing practices, Kundalini yoga, we can feel these subtle bodies and experience love, because our nature, our soul, our beingness itself is love, blissful state of acceptance of reality, which you also can experience if you practice awareness and meditations. And we move in next. Dmitry, just tell me when the time will be for questions, and I will speed up my presentations just in case. Okay, I skipped the first one. How to enter constant meditation? Oh, yeah. How to raise your awareness, first of all. Okay, I will use my vision. People use different tools. I share only my experience. When I started my path, spiritual journey, I would call it, or in psychology, it's also called as securement. That traditional, very someone choose psychological approach, I would say so. Someone spiritual. People who have more magical mindset as me, who are artists with I would say we have specifics in our psyche to believe in miracles, to feel that we are more than this body. And for such people as me, spiritual path is more applicable than psychology, because I couldn't believe that I'm body, I'm personality, and I need to dive into childhood to work out of my traumas. I was thinking it's very it's silly, useless, and so on. But of course, it's only your choice how you feel, what response you feel inside, and you choose your path. I'm sharing only mine. So how to raise awareness? First of all, first milestone is honesty. To be honest with yourself, to see your dirt. I won't say shit, but it is. You see clearly what prevents you of living happy, but you need to be very honest. Otherwise, we won't grow. But if we truly admit that here I'm manipulating people, here, for instance, I'm very rough and I'm imposing my opinion to someone. Here, I want other people serving me, helping me, though I don't want to take responsibility. So you see all your bad qualities, your shadow side. And it's very painful process, because you have to remember when it first happened to you, why you chosen such. Usually our pure nature is love, as I told you. And if we have these masks we are wearing, it's only because of trauma, mainly. But if you see your masks, which you put on yourself, and you're not being yourself because you are like completely attached to these masks, that you can't realize what you're doing, why you complaining, why you reacting automatically to some stimuli. But if we are very honest and very I would say concentrated on this process of always asking ourselves what I'm doing, why I replied this, why I said that, can I use other reaction, not just to feel resentment right away and run to bushes, but to understand how maybe it's something I cannot see in this situation. Maybe it's only my subjective thoughts regarding this, and the person, for instance, is not guilty. He didn't want to cause me pain and so on. So you are expanding your vision of who you are and how you integrate in society, how you communicate with people and so on. Honesty. This is awareness, to be honest, not to hide your flaws. Supervision. Supervision is a very beautiful, beautiful word. Though I was mentioning in this point, at this point, it's like a witness inside you who, like a customs in your head, observes. So in psychology, afterwards, I understood that I was moving towards the psychology therapy on my self-healing, psychological self-healing, because I discovered that in psychoanalysis, there is such concept as adult inside you, that you have your parental side, parental part, child part, and you need to be adult. This is like a witness who can see when you react as a child, when you react as your parent, as someone who, for example, too critical, and you see child who is being hurt and so on. So to be observer of these states is important. It's like the major thing on the way to awareness, because if you cannot detect some program, you never can fight it or reprogram yourself if you won't be honest and won't be constantly in supervision. So then we are moving next. It's valuelessness. such a difficult word for me. It's all about getting rid of judgment, getting rid of assessments. You need to train yourself to get rid of very rigid opinion, limits, and beliefs on anything. To be doubtful. If I see some object, automatically my consciousness loads all my background, all my experience connected with the subject. For instance, I see some object as apple, and right away I have kind of a connection to apple. I imagine how the taste looks like. And yes, I know that this is fruit, where it grows, but it comes only because I had information regarding this object. But if I would see it for the first time, I would have no assessments whether I like apple, for instance, or not. So at the stage of valuelessness, we get rid of any subjective evaluation, assessment towards reality. And this is very important. This is important to shift to the state which they call to be just here and now, the state of moment, perception of reality only now, without thinking of past or future, to be present. If you have no assessments, evaluations, you don't have thoughts regarding it, and you perceive reality as a child, very purely, as if you see it for the first time. And the fourth step here is creation. Creation, I mean, you become, you choose how to react on how to communicate with people, how to act in reality, and so on. You become creator, not a victim. And these all lead to proactive psyche. I think awareness is equal proactive psyche. This term, proactive psyche, was used by Viktor Frankl in his book Man's Search for Meaning. And what is proactive psyche, in simple words, to make you understand, is that we shift from our usual reactions, which are determined by our reptile part of the brain. This is like instincts, automatic reactions on stimuli. Like, for instance, you have some aggression towards you, and you have these reactions which are automatic. You will fight, or you will run, or someone freezes at the spot and don't know what to do. So our reptile part of brain determines how we react on stimuli. But proactive psyche has this gap, very fast, rapid decision how to act in any critical situation, or even in dialogue. We talk to our friend, he again speaks something which is which hurts us, but we can start arguing or start feeling resentment, or we can stop and react out of our decision how it will be better to react. We have this ability to choose your reactions, though it happens at the moment very rapidly. But for instance, I faced a not so pleasant situation on the street. Some drug addict reached for me and wanted to grab money from me, and I had the time in my psyche automatically, because I'm very high level of awareness, as I think. So I reacted adequately, not like a victim. I was not fighting, I wasn't running, I was very calm, and my calmness itself reversed the whole situation, that it ended not badly as it could. Proactive psyche gives us creativity and gives us more productive life, a more life without some troubles, I would say, because when you react automatically, you don't see your programs and you don't understand why the reality treats you this or that. So to be aware of what you say, what you think, and how you speak to people, how you behave, and to choose react how it will be more productive, more I would say self-relevant to this concrete moment of time. We move in next. I hope it's not difficult. For me, it's very easy. How to enter constant meditation. And why I say constant? Because I think that our basic state is meditation. Meditation is not what most of people think about. When you hear meditation, what do you imagine? You imagine relaxation, that you sit in a lotus position and just close your eyes and see some pictures, or you try to stop your internal dialogue, or you relax your body, and what it is. So unless we discover this state of consciousness within, we cannot obtain what is meditation. And I will be honest with you, while I was using meditations in Kundalini yoga, I had no idea what is meditation still, because I had some pleasant sensations, and out of breath work, your state is like a little bit drunk state, I would say, but very high states, like tingling inside of your skull, and your pineal gland activates, and you can reach very cool, I would say, even trippy states out of self-injection with hormones. Our brain starts to produce hormones, which lead us to expanded state of consciousness. But to be in constant meditation and how to achieve it, I couldn't use only yoga. Yoga is the first and very important point, but it's not necessary. So I would shift a little bit to the concept of enlightenment or spiritual awakening, because I cannot skip this thing. Yoga as such, as a concept, always leads to spiritual awakening, to enlightenment, no matter what type of yoga you're practicing. And it happens due to cleaning of our energy channels, our body, and that all our endocrine system, the endocrine glands, which is pituitary gland in the middle of our brain, pineal gland, hypothalamus. When all the systems regulated, when we regulate the both hemispheres of brain by special techniques and movements and breath work, and when we balance our central nervous system, balance the switch between parasympathetic nervous system and sympathetic nervous system, we subsequently go to the very calm, blissful state when all hormones are working properly, when we're not fluctuating, we're not on emotional swings, we're very calm. And this state cleanses, I would say, our perception. In that manner, we see reality as it is, not through the perception of mind, race of thoughts. And this is only the consequence of movement, of cleanliness and relaxation. Yoga helps us to get rid of clamps in the body and to get rid of some emotions suppressed inside. And that's why it frees our attention. Attention is the most important, I would say, to reach enlightenment or some high states of consciousness, constant meditation, as I call it. Because without training attention in the moment, it's very hard. We will be constantly 10 minutes ahead, as they say. Usually a person is thinking, oh, I want to go to grocery, and then I need to call this, and it's about 10 minutes ahead. So we're not here and now. And this is how we used to live, because since childhood, we were trained to use mostly our left hemisphere of brain. But when our both hemispheres are balanced equally, then we can immediately shift to perception here and now. How to help yourself. And before such big and very prolonged states of consciousness, when I was very naturally high, I would say it called samadhi experience in Hinduism. Before that, I trained my attention in the moment during about 3 months. What I was doing, first of all, I was trying to not give any assessments to what I see. I was trying to perceive the picture I see itself as if I see it for the first time. I was watching my palms, precisely looking at the details, while I was talking with a human being, not aliens. I was trying to see details of his face or her face. I was totally in the picture without some kind of thoughts or comments of my monkey mind. What happens? La la la. I try to be as pure as I can each moment of my life, and it's constant meditation. If we, of course, it's very cool if you dedicate yourself in the mornings, for example, by sitting with your closed eyes and just breathe in, relax, and this is very beneficial, but it's not meditation. Meditation is when you apply it in daily life constantly. You constantly trying to abstract of your race of thoughts, and thoughts are shifting to background. And it happens like a shift of perspective shift. At first, I couldn't notice anything, any high states, and it was very silly and even boring to me. My monkey mind would say, "No, Lisa, let's just dream about future," or "This guy behaved so bad, and I'm living in the past." And to be here and now, sometimes for our monkey mind is very boring. But attention in the moment, in the picture itself, this is, I would say, the major tool to reach enlightenment state. Enlightenment state is when you no longer suffer out of your mental programs. You are in the blissful, unconditional state all the time. No matter what happens around, you stay calm, blissful, and loving. This is enlightenment. It has its gradations. The states can be very different, up to super high samadhi, nirvikalpa samadhi states, when you are not in the reality. But it's very hard to act out of such kind of states. Usually, we are very calm. We have no race of thoughts. We can still communicate in society, do our things, plan something, and use our mind, not for overthinking regarding past, future, and so on, but only to, for instance, plan our business, to be our servant. Mind is used only in that manner that it doesn't interfere with pure perception of reality. So joy, what I mean by joy, the next point, is that to be present, to concentrate your attention, you need to plan your life in such manner that you will dedicate yourself to all things you love as much as you can, as much as you can. I see that the time remained is 20 minutes. I will try to be to quicken. And yes, joy is everything you love. You can write down the list what brings you joy. I liked walking and just contemplate the nature. It helped me a lot to train my attention and be aware of my movements, of my breathing. Someone is concentrated on heart chakra. Someone plays music instruments and dive into present moment right away without even understanding what is meditation. So our brain seems to shift to another mode. They call it alpha waves. Joe Dispenza, who knows this guy? I think everyone is familiar with this outstanding person. He says that we have this mode of alpha wave state, but mainly, most of people are in the B wave mode of brain, and we shift to A. It's more meditative, more transcendental state of brain. And lifestyle. To reach those high states of consciousness, we first of all try to reconsider even our daily routine, to change something, to make new neural pathways to form. Because without the reset of the brain, we cannot reach samadhi experience or any kind of transcendental experience. Because it's as they call it, the orgasm of brain. We reset old neural pathways and we change them to new. To have new neural connections, we need to obtain some new craft skill, or we need to change our nutrition, or the time when we eat, or the time when we sleep. We are playing. We are very playful and more spontaneous. It causes neuroplasticity of brain and eventually lead to very expanded state of consciousness, very blissful state. Okay, and I am. It leads to feeling I am. I am everything inside me. I'm the boundless consciousness, which just present in the moment. I'm not personality. I was never born and I will never die. Very beautiful state. I recommend you. You will get rid of alcohol, any drug addictions right away, because it's natural drug which brings you only benefits. You are adequate. Your mind works sharply. You have clarity all the time. You're very creative, and you don't have to deal with consequences of consumption, any drugs. You don't have hangover. You're drunk all the time. It's attractive. I was, as a person who was addicted to smoking, as a person who suffered out of this lifestyle of people who are drinking wine daily, just a glass of wine, but it all makes us feel imbalanced as a result. You know how happy I was when I discovered that alcohol is disgusting to me. I cannot consume it. And it was a miracle to perceive reality as this, as in constant high state, little bit high. I won't say that I'm losing my mind or I don't know where I am. It's not like drugs, which make us totally lose connection with reality, but vice versa. It's very grounded, very sober feeling. Okay, next one. These are our results. Resume of my today's speech. Yeah, this is me. Yeah, with flexible spine, I would say. out of daily yoga during 4 years in a row. So we reach end of suffering. We reach this. We just we stop to torture ourselves with our mind and our assessments of who we are. We stop this race to be successful and this competition in our head comparing us with other people because we accept ourselves fully, and we have this new perception and even new eyesight of the reality of picture itself. It's beautiful. Our eyesight even sharpens, and we perceive smells, tastes more precisely. We have a very colorful picture as a result. Healing, of course, when our body relaxed, when all liquids and energies flow freely through the body, we immediately get rid of some severe sickness, illness inside. We heal our organs. We release all suppressed emotions, which usually cause suffering to our digestive organs, liver, gallbladder, and so on. That's why this instant healing phenomena exists. When you shift to different perceptions, like quantum leap of your perception, automatically body heals itself and even rejuvenates. And I moved a little bit further and discovered that this knowledge that we can prolong our life to years and years ahead. We have this diseases and aging before time only because we are very squeezed. The energy doesn't flow freely. Liquids also stuck, and it affects our blood vessels, our cardiovascular system. It's all connected. That's why I told about body, mind, and soul approach, the Trinity approach. And this is only way how you can move further. Energy, boundless energy reveals. You don't have to sleep like 8 hours a day. You can easily deal with 2-3 hours, and you feel clarity still because you don't have this pressure of the thoughts racing in your head. That's why you are relaxed. If a person is relaxed, he can easily create more and be fascinated by what happens. So energy, we all are searching for health and energy. And this is what I appreciate the most in my experience, because I was struggling with low empathetic states all my life. All my life, I was sleeping a lot and suffering out of understanding that I'm weak. I'm weak all the time. Why it seems like I want to achieve this, but I have no energy. Energy is life energy. Kundalini energy, by the way, is energy of life, energy of sacral chakra. And when we awaken Kundalini, it means we awaken this resource of energy. Kundalini is energy of life. Energy is everything. Energy attracts people. Energy attracts events. If the energy is very high and abundant, people can feel it. People will immediately propose you something, and it will make you feel even more happier. Revelation is about insights and intuition. You clearly understand where you want, where you go. You are connected constantly. You are like a psyche. You can even foresee events. It's inexplicable, up to telepathy. Usually I even feel people and I can read their thoughts. And it's not magic. It's only our basic states. And success, as a resume, it makes you just happy, like improve your quality of life. If you are searching for the meaning of life, I would say it's in the experience itself. And no matter what you are doing in life, you are successful right at the spot you are now. And what you can feel to be like more successful, what you have to do to be more successful is to be who you are and to understand what is your main desire of life. I would say if you know where or who you are, where you want to go, you definitely will reach success sooner or later. No way. And yeah, I just want to show you the last picture of freedom. Like this state which I experience most of the time. Of course, I'm struggling with some things like usual person. Of course, I need to understand how to gain money. But now I'm happy because I'm strong and I know that I can deal with anything in my life. Thank you for your attention. I'm closing my presentation and shifting to stop screen mode. Okay, your questions maybe remained not so much time, but still.
Yes. Thank you for your presentation. It was amazing, really. And if I open comment section, people just agree with me. It was amazing, and people have a couple of questions, and I think we can display it. 1 second. Yes. Here's the first question by Pearson. Pearson just asked a question like, what's the difference between just yoga and yoga which you use?
Okay. Kundalini yoga is more oriented for breath work. While Hatha yoga, for instance, is more with the physical workouts using some positions of the body. Yoga is also movement, but the major thing is breath work and singing mantras to dive into transcendental states. I would say that in that manner, Kundalini is much more the fastest way to reach transcendental states, because I was practicing hatha yoga. It's cool. It also uses breath work, but not so much as Kundalini. And Kundalini as a concept that just make the I would say emphasis on Kundalini energy itself, the energy of life, the force of life, as I mentioned, and it's being awakened and raises from the bottom of your coccyx to the crown chakra. This is like the legend around the whole spiritual awakening process, because to be honest, I didn't experience any raising of energy, though I experienced myself as energy itself. Any yoga is about the same things. The exercises and approach is a little bit different. You can
Okay,
choose
got it.
what is cool for your body. Your pleasure.
Okay, got it. Thank you. Next question from Big Wish Box India. It's like nickname, interesting. And question is, how to identify that someone is an impression? Is there early stage signs?
Yes, we can prevent ourselves of diving into hard stage of depression. And absolutely, first of all, like I can identify that gradually I lose interest to some things which I loved before. And I truly believe that I'm losing interest, and nothing is like anhedonia state when you don't want anything. It happens when you want to stay home more, don't want to communicate with people. The second red flag, I would say, these are thoughts, negative thoughts, which you can see about yourself, and very like self-esteem weakens right away. You have more critical thoughts regarding yourself, first of all, because depression is when we go into this cave and hide of reality, just don't want to do anything. And also, I would say when you are in the victim states much more, when you're complaining, because right before depression, usually we have the feeling of like nervousness. Our nervous system is trying to struggle, and we are very anxious, or um, we are constantly irritated by people, by everything, like we are fluctuating on emotional swings. And this is the ultimate sign after which our body will turn off its mechanisms and will fall into a disabled state when your even physical movements are very hard. You don't even know how to live further and how to cope with your daily tasks. Nervousness, negative thinking, and losing interest to what was fascinating you before, I would say. Yeah.
Okay. And I think we can choose last question. I think it's actually an interesting question for me because I can read it. Actually, I have some bias about my problems. I mean, it's so hard to define what exactly I feel. So how to define it and be honest with that?
Mhm.
How to be honest with that and define the problem? Yeah.
So that you are in doubtful states and you are not truly believing who you are, this is very cool sign. I would say I would reply to Pearson that she is on your journey, because we can be self-connected only when we pass through these doubtful states. You just need to observe and feel. Eventually, if you will be more aware how you react while you're communicating with people, what are you doing in life, you will hear this silent voice of your soul. No ways, if you will be just observing and asking questions. And of course, you can also analyze what happens when you react this or that. So again, some bias about people. I mean, so hard to define exactly. I feel how you feel. Usually, body. If you're connected to body, I would recommend such person yoga as first and foremost, because through body movements you can connect with the body and you feel how body reacts. Body is a genius mechanism that allows you to be so connected that if someone, for instance, propose you something, your body reacts like squeezing itself, but you cannot feel it if body is too tense, or if you lost this feeling of yourself. So I would recommend yoga, and to be constantly concentrating on your breathing, or on your some part of the body, wherever you choose, and to ask yourself questions and try to at least write down who you are, what are your major traits, what you love, what energizes you and brings you joy, because joy is the key. If you don't know who you are and what to choose, just choose joy and connect with your body, and try to be present in the moment, not to lose the signs of your intuition and your body. Don't be in thoughts, be present in the body, and do what you
Okay.
love as much as you can. It's hard. I know it's hard, and it's like all tools I told through my presentation are leading to this connection with yourself. This is the whole path. Some people are spending years for it to understand who you are. And what I also would add here is that we are very different. our true nature is spontaneous state of a child, of a creator. So also I would recommend everyone not to be so rigid in understanding who you are, and allow yourself to express spontaneously, moment by moment. You know how many things I discovered about myself? Most of people have masks, and you need to see the masks first of all, your like bad traits and why you behave, or maybe you're playing good girl. If you see that I don't want to please people, other vice versa, I want to stand on my position, then maybe you playing, for instance, good girl. And it's very hard, gradual work, constant work, daily work of awareness. Without
Yes,
this, of
and
course, we are not connected.
yes, and I think we need to notice that it's really just long-term pathway, which you need
Yes,
to just hard work on this pathway. It's not 1 week work and you just feel different. It's just years.
I would say lives.
Yeah,
I would say I believe that for some people in this life, it doesn't not so necessarily to feel spiritual awakening and to have the states, but usually the sign of that you are ready, your fruits ripen, you're ready for enlightenment if you suffer. If you suffer, guys, this is your bliss. This is the major sign that you can reach very high states.
okay, and some bonus question. Well, where audience can find your courses?
Yeah, as a person who is very abundant, I believe, I first of all recommend you visit my YouTube channel. I have 100 free classes of Kundalini yoga there for 45 minutes with music, with guidance, with explanations. You can try it for free. And then I have courses which are not so expensive at Udemy platform. One course is called From Depression to Prosperity, and the second, weight loss and regulation of eating behavior. But just visit my Kundalini Yoga with Lisa Grail on YouTube, and you will discover playlists which help you to deal with any issues, emotions, to work with your spine, with all chakras. And yeah, welcome to Kundalini Journey. I will be glad to have you on my channel.
Yes, after presentation, we will send a message with some contact information, Udemy YouTube channel, Alisa YouTube channel, Udemy page, and you can just discover it and enjoy our content, at least created for you. I think that's all. We can just end our broadcast. Thank you, guys. Thank you for participating here. Thank you, Lisa, for your amazing presentation. Thank you so much
Thank
for
you,
it.
Dmitry, for your job. I think it's like when you help yourself, you want to share with people. It happens naturally. I understand, and I do appreciate you for your work, Dmitry.
Yeah, thank you.